Lorena was just announced to be our first Rivals 2 fighter, dropping early 2026. Her flashy, showboaty style and wrestler motifs highlight her moveset, featuring tons of grabs and a sick magnetic metal chair. If you've only just now seen the trailer, you're probably pretty confused on how her kit works and flows together. But don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you today and make sure you're not missing a thing. Before we dive into the trailer, we do know a little bit about her kit from the dev livestreams from the past few weeks. The important pieces that I've gathered from them is that Lorena mostly maintains her Rivals 1 toolkit, and she's considered a returning fighter by the devs because of it. So if you played her in that game from the workshop and were a fan, you'll be sure to love her here in Rivals 2. Her weight is at a nice value of 101, meaning she's 1 point heavier than Orcane and a little bit lighter than Galvin, making her either a light heavy or a heavy medium weight. I'll let you guys decide that one down in the comments. And her grabs all let you do 3 pummels. Each pummel does something different depending on what order you press the buttons, and you can mix and match between normal and special pummels as much as you'd like. They don't show a lot of different diversity throughout her pummel string in the trailer, so I don't have a great visual for y'all, but special pummel 1 and 2 change where Lorena's at compared to the opponent, and the normal pummels ramp up in damage the further into the chain you get without an interruption. Obviously, to balance this, opponents will be able to interrupt any of these pummels, so landing a third pummel, either normal or special, is pretty tricky, but they'll net massive damage if you do. I want to give a quick heads up in case you haven't played the Rivals 1 variant of Lorena, but a lot of her normals are grabs, hit grabs, and special grabs, in at least some form. I'll break down how all those work as we go and watch the trailer, but her kit kind of feels like if you showed a designer Smash Ultimates Incineroar and asked them to add 10 more grabs. For our final Lorena fact, many people don't know that Lorena actually means the Queen in French Canadian. Getting to the trailer, we open with a super sick animation. Probably the coolest we've had, where we see Lorena take on her opponents in the ring, with a Rivals 1 style splash page for her announcement. However, you're probably not here for my animation analysis, so let's skip a few seconds ahead and see her throw some punches. Our first clip, we see Lorena's walk cycle, which looks pretty slow, into a rapid jab on Crag. Her initial dash here looks pretty good compared to that slow walk, and Nair seems to come out very fast. It looks like it has a lot of hit stun, but sometimes that's the patch that they're playing on for the trailer, so we can't be too sure. Her forward air is a follow-up, and it does pretty solid knockback compared to the Nair, meaning that Crag probably isn't at an absurdly high percent, or Nair and up tilt have very minimal scaling, making them great for kill confirms. The clip ends with an up B back to the stage, which doesn't really go very far at all, meaning that she'll need to rely on her chair to recover with, which I'll mention later. Our next clip takes us to a brawl with Zetterburn, where Lorena lands her side B, which is a dash forward grabbing any opponent in its path. This move is pretty similar to something like Ganondorf's Flame Choke or Incineroar's side B in Smash Ultimate. It pops Zetterburn into the air, but as we know from her Rivals 1 kit, there's 2 versions of this move depending on your directional input after the move connects. This is the one that throws up and sends a little bit further. But we do see that it has enough hit stun to confirm into a chair toss. Lorena then down airs the chair, which grabs it and tosses it up, hitting Zetter and allowing her to land an up air before popping Zetter back up into the air, calling the chair back to her with down B, activating its hitbox, grabbing Zetter, and then landing a down throw. Forward strong connects after the down throw, pulling Zetterburn off stage and into a kill. That was a lot in a really short amount of time, so let me break down each of Lorena's unique mechanics that we just saw here, starting with that chair. Chair is neutral special, and can be thrown from the ground or in the air, with slight angles based on your input. When chair is active, you can use neutral B to call the chair back to you, or down B to pull yourself towards the chair. It's not as fast as something like a maple tether, but it's quick enough to give you a good burst movement, which is especially helpful off stage, as I mentioned. Lorena can also grab her chair and throw it, activating the hitbox. I'm not sure if the hit stun on the chair from Rivals 1 will carry over, but normally in that game, if you landed a hit with the chair, you could find some kind of follow-up or combo from it. After we see the initial hit of the chair hit, we see Lorena use this to push advantage with down air on the chair, not on Zetterburn as I mentioned, which grabs an opponent below you and tosses them up. I found this move to be really interesting in Rivals 1 since it didn't necessarily work like a traditional down air, especially off stage, but it opened up lots of juggling and combo routes on stage or even above a platform. I wish I kinda had another platform move to compare it to, but it's really unique to the genre. We then see Lorena connect up air after the chair hits Zetterburn, which is kind of the opposite of her down air. She grabs her opponent and pulls them down to the ground before knocking them up into the air for a follow-up. Both of these aerial grabs and the back air are hit grabs, meaning they're shieldable, but will act like grabs in other scenarios. The final unique mechanic here is the forward strong. This move actually isn't a hit grab, and it'll just straight up bypass shield, with Lorena slamming the opponent down behind her as we see in the clip. However, if the opponent's taken off stage, a platform will appear below her, preventing her from SDing, and keeping her from guaranteeing a stock trade on an opponent. This platform will actually appear anytime Lorena drags an opponent off stage with a grab, so you won't be able to sneak any early stocks with her, but you'll be able to set up for some very sick offstage confirms. Wrapping up this clip, we see Lorena flex and pose for the camera. If you want to get big and strong just like her, you should probably use code LASTSTOCK in the Rivals shop. It really supports the channel and allows me to host free weekly tournaments in my Discord, linked down below. For the next clip, we see Lorena special pummel Rano, turning around and facing the other way. This sets up for a new throw position and makes the possibilities for her throw combos endless, since let's say you grab someone by the ledge and you want back throw, well, you can just turn around. We then see her land normal pummel 2 and what I assume is normal pummel 3, which launches Rano to the top blast zone after a huge body slam. Truthfully, this could just be her up throw, but I think we see that one later on in the trailer, and the animation's a bit too crazy for that. I doubt it's special pummel 3, since I think that one will have some kind of weird mechanic with positioning or the chair that's not just taking a stock. From the dev streams, we know the third pummel does just under 30% damage, so this amount of knockback would probably line up with that. Drilling into the Galvin clip, we see Lorena parry with a cool flex, and then grab and do what I assume is actually up throw, following it up with a jump and a chair toss in the air. Truthfully, the chair toss here looks crazy fast, so I'm not really sure if that's some form of movie magic or if that'll be in the live game whenever she launches. But it easily connects into a side B with the other input that I mentioned earlier, throwing Galvin down and keeping him a bit closer to Lorena than before. Lorena then down Bs, pulling herself into her chair and applying very low knockback to Galvin, before performing a back air. This move also doesn't send Galvin very far, and it actually sends him slightly more horizontally than what I remember from the Rivals 1 counterpart doing. She then forward airs the chair, putting it behind Galvin. If you're paying close attention, you'll notice that the chair doesn't hit him here. This means that you'll have to throw the chair or pull it towards you to activate its hitbox, not just simply hit it with any move. Speaking of pulling the chair, however, we see Lorena do just that, landing forward air into dash attack off the platform. This dash attack lands on the chair, cancelling the end lag of it looks like, and it kinda gives Lorena some boosted momentum up like a trampoline. She then lands Nair into the up special, popping Galvin up into the top corner blast zone and knocking him out of the ring. Truthfully, I'm a little confused on this clip, since a lot of the moves had really low knockback, but the up B had crazy high knockback, meaning it hits either absurdly hard, even at lower percents, or there's some kind of mechanic scaling its knockback based on how far she falls with you. Either way, it looks super sick. We end off the trailer with Lorena's victory animation, and some sick splash art, as well as an announcement for release on everyone's favorite American holiday, January 6th. This trailer didn't give us quite as much info as some of the past ones, but from what I can tell, Lorena will be a hard-hitting, combo-centric grappler, with a medium ground and air speed, a risky recovery, lots of movement tech, and infinite ways to push advantage through both set play and previously mentioned movement tech. From what I've played of Lorena in Rivals 1, she's by far the most unique and engaging grappler that I've ever seen in a fighting game, and I really can't wait to see her in action in Rivals 2. If you want to check her out in Rivals 1, I've left a link to the workshop page in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video until the end, and I know that I haven't made as much content recently, but as of this Friday, I'll be graduated with my bachelor's degree, so I'll have a lot more time for fun videos, tournaments, and live streams with you all. It means a ton that you guys stuck around even through the big break in content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in next week's video, where I'll be buffing each character in the game. Until then, bye for now!